Why play Varus Mid? Well, he has amazing long-range poke. He can absolutely one-shot champions, he brings great wave clear, and he has very strong long-range engage. However, he does lack mobility and is incredibly squishy if CC'd. And he is very skill shot reliant, so he does struggle against champions with high mobility. Varus's passive is after he kills an enemy, he gains a small amount of attack speed for a chunk of time. If the enemy he killed is a champion, he gains a massive amount of attack speed instead. Varus's Q is a charged ability which causes him to be slowed. It's a straight line skill shot which gains range and damage as it's charged and will be fully charged after 1.25 seconds. But the ability can be released before this time. Upon hitting an enemy champion, it deals damage to enemies hit and detonates all blight stacks, which we'll come onto with his W. Varus's W has a passive where his attacks deal bonus magic damage and apply a stack of blight. These blight stacks can be stacked up to 3 times per target, and upon hitting an enemy with an ability, it will consume these stacks for additional damage. In addition, for each blight stack detonated, his basic ability's cooldown will be reduced by 12% per stack. The active on this ability empowers his next Q to deal massive amounts of bonus execute damage. When this empowered Q is used on an enemy with 3 blight stacks, it can simply one-shot them. Varus's E throws a circle on the floor which deals damage to all enemies hit. It then leaves the circle on the floor which slows enemies within and applies grievous wounds to reduce healing. Varus's ultimate is a straight line skill shot which deals damage to and roots the first enemy champion hit, as well as revealing them, and over the first 1.5 seconds they'll be applied 3 blight stacks. Upon hitting the first champion, it will then attempt to spread to nearby enemy champions, and if it touches them, they'll also take the damage and be rooted. For combos, a good basic combo is to attack 3 times into your E, before attacking 3 more times again into your W empowered fully charged Q for massive damage. And your standard one-shot combo is to use your ultimate and then use your W into an empowered Q, shooting it just as the third blight stack from the ultimate is applied. And then of course you can follow up with 3 attacks into an E or just straight into your E. For matchups, Varus does great into low mobility champions who he can easily bully or lane before blowing them up with his ultimate. And he can struggle against high mobility champions who will avoid his skill shots and get on top of him. For runes take this, Hail of Blades allowing him to apply 3 quick blight stacks is incredible. For build order, start Blade and Pot into Shiv, Tier 2 Boot, Nash's Tooth and a Rift Maker. However, if Shiv falls out of the meta, you can simply skip this and go straight for Nash's. After this, a Hat and Zhonya's are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start E then W then Q before maxing W then Q then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Teleport. However, if you're against a strong threat, consider Barrier. Starting the game, as the mid laner you're looking to farm hard, poke where you can and look for good trades. Varus's basic attacks have very long range and deal great damage with his W passive, so whenever your opponent goes to farm, look to attack them. And for even more damage, you can also throw out your E, which will also detonate the blight stack. When going for trades, how well it will go will depend on hitting your skill shot and how well you can kite your opponent. If you're able to keep them at max range and get 3 attacks off into an E and 3 attacks off into an empowered Q, you'll most likely have killed them. And when you hit level 6, you want to use your ultimate and look for a kill. Entering the mid game, your bot lane will come mid, which puts you in a side lane. You're not a great split pusher, so push it out as far as you can safely before rotating to your team for fights and objectives. Entering late game team fights, you can either play as your teams engage or just play the backline carry. Starting a team fight with ultimates can absolutely doom the champion hit, as your combo will basically one-shot them before your team even follows up. Otherwise, play the backline carry spamming out attacks and detonating blight stacks, using your ultimate to either devastate their team or simply to peel for yourself.